What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the90sfirst to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First Show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day.
Gentlemen, it has been too long, but I'm back and I'm ready. Yeah. I am so happy to be back here. Welcome again, listeners and viewers. This is Test Your Might, our weekly video game debate show and podcast. As you can see, if you're watching, it's me, Jelly, hosting. We've got Rubber Duck and Cicero competing this week. Mike is not with us this week. He's taking a night off. So, Mike, I hope you're having fun. We are about to have more fun. If you are listening or watching us, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever you're listening or watching on. It will help us out immensely. And if you like it, tell your friends too, because why not? If you like something, you tell your friends. I do. Justin, I like you. I just told you. Cicero, I like Justin. Bam. It's that easy.
Good. Yeah. There you go.
Right? I'm just
Everyone
saying,
follow us.
Trying to show how simple it is. As we move in on this episode, we have our question of the week series. Now, we're doing favorite video game in a genre. Last week was Brawler. This week, we're Dr. Seussing it. So, what rhymes with Brawler? Of course, Dungeon Crawler. So, what is your favorite dungeon crawler? We're swinging over to you first, Justin. What is your favorite dungeon crawler?
I didn't even have to think about it very long. My favorite dungeon crawler of all time is the original Diablo. I've spent countless hours on it on the PC back when Blizzard was a big name. They're trying at least, but the original Diablo for sure. Always have a place in my heart and the number one dungeon crawler in my life.
All right, Cicero, what is your favorite dungeon crawler?
All right. Well, old man goes old school and says his favorite dungeon crawler is the original or one of the original dungeon crawlers. That is Gauntlet.
Gauntlet,
Nice.
Yeah, the OG.
Nice.
That might be the top dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
maybe of all time.
Yeah,
objectively
Gauntlet,
speaking.
Yeah, Gauntlet is my favorite dungeon crawler. As long as you're able to play it on console with unlimited continue. because
small fortune.
It's perfect.
That game, because that game was designed to devour.
Yeah, it was built to break you.
Yeah.
It's a perfect
small fortune to beat that game in an arcade.
Small fortune.
Let's see. For me, it's gonna be Zelda. Hello, the original. It's absolutely a dungeon crawler, and if you want to argue, then hit me up on the Twitter. Obviously,
okay.
Where I don't man it, so you'll have to fight with Mike
or Justin.
No, stay off the Facebook. Don't come at me.
If you want to target me, you'll have to see me on Instagram. That's where you'll find me. Hit us up, 90s First Discord, or 90s First on Instagram. Not
90s First Discord.
Yeah. We do have a Discord if you want to jump on and hang out with us, though.
Yep.
Just saying. Hey, just free product placement for myself. Let's move on. What have we been playing? Cicero, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing sports, and more sports. I planned on. Yeah, I had planned on playing some 12 minutes, but I didn't get to it. So I think I wound up playing sports, and more sports. Played some NBA 2K21. Played some MLB The Show, 20 whatever it is, 221 whatever it is.
The free one on Game Pass.
Right. The Game Pass game. And recently been playing some NBA 2K22.
All right, nice.
Brand new NBA 2K game. New mechanics, new gameplay, new graphics, new story. And at least so far, I got it yesterday, so I haven't really put time into it. But at least so far, it seems less buggy than most of the other initial releases from NBA 2K.
All right, that's good.
That's a win.
That's high praise.
That is a win. Yeah.
Justin, have you also been playing sports, and more sports, or you got something different?
Oddly enough, no. Not a big sports game, but that's okay. I know where sports are. I've been playing a lot of Craftopia still. Game has got my heart. I'm level 47. I think max is 50 before the update on the 30th. I've gotten most of the crafting. I've already advanced the age. You advance it in steps, kind of like Civilization does. And I've advanced it to the furthest and everything else that's coming soon. So really enjoying it, playing with some buddies, crafting, dungeon crawling. Good Breath of the Wild vibes when you're exploring worlds. It's nice. Free on Game Pass. It's going to be $24.99 if you don't have Game Pass. And it's on Steam as well, if you wanted to give it a shot on there.
Is it worth the $25?
I'm actually considering giving it to them because the amount of content that is there, it deserves them to have your credit.
All right, nice. And that was Craftopia?
Craftopia, yeah.
Craftopia, sweet. I have not been playing that many video games lately because I've been working a ton. And also the reason for me not being here has just been down. We had the sickness run through the house a little while ago, and still out trying to get everyone back on their feet and everything kind of moving back to normal. And so yeah, I've been playing Apex a little bit, just not as much as I'd like to. I have also been playing a new game called MX Bikes. It's like a motorcycle simulation thing that one of my buddies plays. And that one's fun. It's super difficult. The learning curve is unbelievably steep. So it took me probably an hour to get to where I can ride around the track without falling over like 10 times. I still fall over like 3 or 4 times, but it was bad before. Like I couldn't even stay upright for any significant amount of time. It was unfortunate. I'm also changing my lighting for those people watching because I looked really washed out and my colors were all weird. So that's what I've been playing. Apex. If you're here, we're going to talk about Sony. They had the State of Play, and that's the big news this week. If you didn't catch it, pause us, go look at the highlights from it, and then come back and listen, because we're going to spoil the heck out of it. If you don't care and you just want to hear our take on it, keep listening, and thanks for coming, because we are about to have some serious fun talking about the State of Play, what Sony's bringing, and everything involved in that. But this is your spoiler warning, so you got about 2 seconds before I hand this over and we start getting into it. That was it, 2 seconds. All right, how do you guys feel about State of Play? What did you guys think? Yay, nay, let's play. Cicero, your thoughts first.
Yay, let's play.
Yay, let's play. Yes.
So I guess the elevator pitch or the short run for me is it put the battery in my back to redouble my efforts to try and get a PlayStation.
Okay.
So, as it currently stands, or as it had stood, I'm still in the market for a PS5, but like I've been content where I've been. Mm-hmm. And if one kind of stumbles across my path, then I would pull the trigger on it. But now, after watching that, it has made me actively kind of go in and not look hard, but look to see if I could find a digital PS3 at some point, from somewhere. It was superb. The presentation.
All right. Justin, going to you before we start talking specifics on it.
I agree completely with Cicero. I feel like this was the closest presentation to the E3 Xbox presentation that I've seen in the recent years. For this to always have another thing that you're like, but wait, there's more. Here comes Billy Mays with more content and more trailers, and it just kept you going throughout the entire show. I didn't even know that was going to happen. I didn't expect that. It caught me off guard, but it was amazing, and I can't wait to play it. I was also content with not having a PS5. I took a few months back and tried to get one, and I just kind of was like, I'm not going to do the rat race. But now with the specifics we're going to talk about, it's those batteries are back in, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this in my hands before these games come out. I got to get these games because Xbox isn't going to have them, and I cannot wait to play some of these.
There were some big exclusives dropped.
Yeah.
So again, if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that I have been dogging Sony a lot, and I don't think it's been unfair in any ways, but maybe harshly. However, tonight I get to sing their praises, which is fun because I was a Sony guy for the first 3 iterations of the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. And then I got into Xbox right at, their best time for Sony, which they came out with some of the best exclusives. But I was a Sony guy for a very long time. Had the Move, had some of their other cool little just unique things. I don't think that I'm going to be trying to find a PlayStation because they still just don't exist. But I definitely saw things that would make it worth it to own one. And if you already have one, props on you for getting it. But secondly, you are in store for probably the best 2022 and 2023. They hinted at some stuff for 2024, but really, I don't think it's worth it to talk about dates that far away. But 2022 and even some titles this year, they have titles coming out Q4 for PS5. So you who have one,
I don't know if there are any exclusives coming out this year.
I don't think there was any exclusives this year. I think the first available exclusive is Horizon Forbidden West in February. I think that was the closest date that I saw. They were a little stingy in hiding.
Is the Alan Wake remaster
No, it's going to be
exclusive?
It's on the Xbox store already for $40.
The remake?
The remake is the remaster for October 5th.
Okay. Okay, yeah,
I've got it pre-ordered.
That one I have not under exclusive. If you're watching, your boy takes notes. So, and if you're listening, I have a lot of notes here. I took notes down for just the Sony kind of the whole show that they did. And then I also specifically have a area for their exclusives because they made it very important that these are our things now. And they were good things. So let's talk about their exclusives first, and then we can hit on some of the other games they mentioned. As far as exclusives go, I have here, correct me if I'm wrong, Horizon Forbidden West. We've got the new Insomniac production Wolverine.
Right.
We saw Gran Turismo 7, and that one they hinted at. They didn't give us a ton, but it looked phenomenal. We have Spider-Man 2. It's Spider-Man 2. Can't say more about it because I never played the first one, but I know you guys did. And then their biggest reveal, or what I think they say for last as their biggest reveal, is God of War Ragnarok. Which, as far as I know, for people who played the God of War games, it's a big deal. So I understand why they would save that. It looked amazing, phenomenal. I have not played them. Never played Oblivion or God of War. I think those are the same universe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, God of War is not
God
an
of
Elder
War.
Scrolls game.
Right. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
God of
that's
War
right.
is a God of
Elder
War
Scrolls
game.
is gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I never
Yeah.
played them.
Okay.
But just watching this trailer for it looks super fun.
Yeah.
I would play it if I ever found a PlayStation for, not market value, but actual MSRP. We'll see if that happens. Hopefully soon.
You should play it. The one game that you forgot of those games of the exclusive PS5 titles
is it A Thief's End?
Is that also.
It's
but,
not Knights though.
But yeah, Coder. Yeah, Knights of the Old
that's
Republic.
Steam as well.
It's on PC.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which means I'll get to play it because I was
which means I'll get to play it.
I was
Right.
really worried that I would not get to touch it, and I was going to be so upset because, as we will get on further in this, I helped on this outline. Mike usually does it, but I had to have the battle exclusives losing exclusivity. So we will battle it out in a bit. But yeah, Star Wars KOTOR. You want to talk about it? Because
yeah. I guess I'll start by asking: have you guys played it?
The original, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. But so you say, of course, Duck, but
of course not.
I know Jelly has not. He has not.
I have not played it.
Yeah.
I played.
But are you
SWTOR.
excited? You did play SWTOR.
Yes.
So did you? And you love SWTOR.
I was a big fan. Yeah. At first, it was really, really good when everyone else hated it, and then it got worse. And then
you know why? You know why they hate? You know why they hated it?
Because it was expensive and not as good as they wanted.
You know why they hated it?
Because it wasn't KOTOR.
It wasn't as good as KOTOR.
Yep.
That's why they hated it.
Fair enough.
That's why they hated it. It wasn't as good as KOTOR. KOTOR. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
So before the Sony show, I read something online. It was a rumor, a leak, and I heard there might be a remake coming. And when they opened with it,
it was good.
Oh, Josh. Like when you get those chills of the nostalgia, Mike's talked about it with the Tony Hawk remakes. Those chills you get from the games you grew up with, the games you spent hours, days playing, and then to see it re-encaptivated in visual spectacle that it is now, it's going to be. And I'm so glad that it's PC as well. Just in case I don't get my hands on a PS5, I'll get to play this game. And I cannot wait to waste my life away and play this game.
I think they were super smart. Just real quick, the opening when they did it, because they made it so reminiscent to the Vader reveal with the lightsaber coming out in the hallway. Like, how cool for this generation who only knows that, and the old generation who not only knows that and loves Star Wars, but also gets to have that same sort of feeling. I'm blanking on the word, but nostalgia. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Something you just did it, and I was like, he sent it to me mentally.
What about you, Cicero? Are you excited to play this thing?
So when I saw this on the Sony in the beginning of the Sony conference, I was like, oh, okay, like what a role reversal, because this game was famously an Xbox exclusive when it initially released. So I was like, oh man, that's turnabout is fair play. This seems weird because it's, does it is BioWare involved? I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it. I didn't see EA. So what is this? But at the end, I was like, hey man, this gives me a reason to want to play PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I would love to revisit. This is one of my favorite games of all time.
One of the best Star Wars games of all time.
Oh yeah, I think it is the best Star Wars. And like now they have the opportunity to throw that down again.
Yeah.
And
for
really
under
kind of,
Sony's name too.
right. So the show only got better from there, as far as I was concerned. But like, man, what a great get! This is going to be an incredible experience. I anticipate, and I'm really, really curious and excited to see how they've decided to remake this game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the story is there. I in some ways, I feel like the choices that you make in KOTOR are more impactful than the choices you make in Mass Effect.
Ooh.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that 100%. Yeah. Mass Effect gave you a little bit of a tease to what you had when you were.
Like they alluded to choice where I don't really think, like, there are some big choices that you can make in Mass Effect that affect, what characters are in your party and some other ancillary things. But I feel like the way that KOTOR deals with their morality system and the choices that you make have a much greater impact on the game that you're playing as you're playing it. It also has an impact on your character and the way your character looks.
Yeah.
And you get a better feeling of role playing as your character, whatever way you decide to role play as the character. That is displayed better in KOTOR than I think it has been done in any other BioWare game RPG.
Yeah.
Dang.
Growing up, Fable was one of the ones that did it with morality.
Yes,
that was great.
Yes.
But then there was another game that I played also on the Sony platform. I don't know if you've played through it, but I've played Detroit Become Human.
Oh, yeah.
And see, that took not just the morality part, but it took the world bending of your choice decision making.
Yes.
And that is what I had when we played this older game.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that come to fruition, I really hope they don't mess it up, but I really don't think they can.
Yeah, I think not to beat this horse dead, but I think that is something about KOTOR that again hasn't been recreated or wasn't recreated in Mass Effect. Like your reputation precedes you in KOTOR. There are certain places that you go, and depending on your alignment, they may attack you right away.
Yeah.
When you come into those spaces, simply because of who you are. Whereas, Mass Effect, that's not something that happens. And I'm very much like, just thinking about the experiences that I had with that game. It definitely was one that made me stand up and take notice back in, what original Xbox era,
long time ago.
Whatever time period that was. But I remember at the time thinking, and I've never played it.
No.
And to be honest, I've only played games similar to it, but I haven't played a game.
No, nothing's touched that bar.
Yeah, I haven't played a game.
I guess I need to try this game out.
It is on Game Pass, isn't it? The original.
Yeah, the original's on Game Pass.
Oh,
shit. The original's on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
And it's,
I should just play the new one, right?
Maybe you play both. Maybe you play both. Yeah, maybe you play both, and you can see the comparison. And they did up-res it. They did up-res the old one, so it won't look like absolute trash.
That's good.
If you play the old one now. But I think it will give you, if you play the first one, the original now, going in, and I think if you just get through to the point when the game starts, and I'll just say it like that, right? I'll say it like that, and you'll know exactly, if you play it, you'll know exactly what I mean when you get there.
That's respect right there.
Yeah, when the game starts, you'll get a sense of what the game is like. But then you'll also get a sense of whether or not you'll want to finish the game, which I think you will.
You will.
Because at that point you're like, oh, the game just started.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
I'm sure I'll want to keep playing.
Yeah,
I have no doubt. All right. We've talked a lot about KOTOR. I'm going to run through the games, and how about we just highlight, if we want to talk about it more, I'll run through them all real quick, and then we'll go back and touch on them. So in order, KOTOR, that was the first one. They opened with it. It was a big reveal. It was crazy. If you watched it, if you didn't watch it, go watch it. If you did watch it, you know what we're talking about, and oh man, did they do very well with that opener. Following KOTOR, we had... what was it? Project Eve, which was
wow,
beautiful looking game. I didn't understand it because I'm not familiar with it, but it looked cool. It was a
very Japanese.
Yeah, it looked amazing. That's
very
for sure.
Japanese.
I've never played it either, and I was excited. I wanted to give it a shot because it looked so good.
Up next, they did Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which looked funny and intriguing, and the animation style is different, which I thought was really cool.
Not different if you've ever played Borderland games, which I'm assuming you have not.
No, I have. I was gonna say it was very familiar to Borderlands, but even different in a sense. It was almost like 2D on 3D, like paper on a 3D world.
Sure.
Yeah, it was very comical.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
which was good for the show.
Up next, they did Forspoken, which I was very intrigued with. Thought it looked very good. After that came Rainbow Six, which was Rainbow Six Extraction.
Extraction.
Not a rainbow guy. Looked good though, and if you are a rainbow person, then I'm pretty sure you think it's great.
No, I'm a rainbow guy. I didn't think it was great, but keep going. Yeah, keep going. We'll
talk about that in a minute.
Later. Yeah.
They did Alan Wake, which again was the remaster. GTA 5, which is it?
Hey,
it's gonna look really good and play
hopefully somebody will actually buy that game this time, right? Because they've really been trying to push this game. I would love it if someone actually bought a GTA 5 game.
It only came out on PS3.
Right. They've only been trying for the last 8 years.
Hey, it's not on a fridge yet.
When the game releases on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in March, it will have been released. That game that they release in March will be 8.5 years old.
Yep.
8.5 years old.
It's actually really impressive.
That means it's incredibly impressive. That means if somebody was able to legally purchase the game when the game released in 2013, that same kid is now able to rent a car without penalty.
That's a scary thought.
Let's not combine GTA and that.
Hey.
That's amazing. I've never thought about it like that. Yeah, that's impressive.
It's still making money every day.
Yeah, good job, Rockstar.
Yeah.
Let's see. Up next, they did Ghostwire Tokyo. Very different. I've not seen games like that, but I was intrigued. They didn't give us a whole ton about it. Give us a minute and a half, maybe 90 seconds, and different style than I've seen. Again, very Japanese, but it looked cool. Like, I'd be into it. It was like a first-person style game, but instead of guns, you used magic, chi, something. Yeah, he did weird little hand things, and then all of a sudden he had powers. So it was cool. It was it was good. It was good. What's up next? Darn it, I lost my spot.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel. Yep, that's right. I don't know. We'll come back to it. I was on it.
Okay. Next up.
Blood Hunt. Dude, I was into that. Anyone else?
Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah. Dude,
good.
I was about that one. I was like, okay. Then we had Deathloop.
Yep.
That one looked very good, intriguing, like Groundhog Day, FPS Groundhog Day.
Deathloop out this week.
The 14th. Actually, no. Deathloop if you're hearing this, you can
Right,
download
Deathloop
it.
is out.
Go
Right,
get
Deathloop. By the time you hear this, Deathloop will be released.
Let's see. Oh, the next one, Kid
Yeah.
Amnesia exhibition. A Radiohead thing. I don't know. That one was like 20 seconds maybe, and the most confusing thing that they had in the entire showcase. I saw it. I was confused. I didn't understand it.
And then it was gone.
Yeah, and then it was over. And then they just skipped it, and then they moved on to a great looking game, which was Takia or Takaya or something. But I will talk about it in a minute. Then A Thief's End, then the exclusives, Horizon Forbidden West, Wolverine, Gran Turismo, Spider-Man 2, and God of War. All right. Jumping back in. Which ones do we need to talk about?
Well, so I want to talk about Forspoken, simply because as I was watching the video, the sizzle reel for it, I realized this, right? Every year at E3, there is a game that we watch a video for, and it looks beautiful. It looks like something, it looks provocative, right? It's something that people want to talk about, and it always gets one of these stupid, pretentious names, right? That and all the talking video game heads now have to sit around and talk about this nonsensical name for a game, and then like wax poetic about how much, how greatly they anticipate playing this game. Forspoken is that game now, right? Like, it looked incredible. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what's going on. I hate the fact that I'm gonna have to, like, for the next 4 months, I'm gonna be talking about Forspoken. For what? I can't stand it. But it looks great. It's supposed to come out this spring. We'll see if it hits the.
It looked good though. It looked so good. Oh,
it did,
man.
right? It did, and but that's what's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna tune into IGN. You're gonna tune into all of your favorite places to listen to podcasts.
Forspoken.
Right, and everybody's gonna be talking about this stupid game called Forspoken. Nobody knows why it's called Forspoken. I think when we play it, no one's gonna know why it's called Forspoken. Like, there's gonna be like some group of people that were ancient, there was a prophecy about the Forspoken, and that's gonna be some stupid buzzword that if it was a drinking game, you'd wind up getting drunk around. But by the time you end the game, nobody's really gonna know what they are.
I hope that we do, though.
Right.
I really hope there's an answer for it. But yeah, it's got one of those not catchy names, those names that you would rather not say a lot.
Right. Well, it's a name that feels like it was workshopped. Like, and all the names are workshopped, right? Like, all of these names, but I feel like there were a bunch of people in polo shirts sitting around either a Zoom call, or maybe they were back in an office, and they all sat around and patted themselves on the back when they came up with this dumb name. It like, I don't know why it bothers me, but it finally has. Every single year there's at least one game that's just like, and this year it's Forspoken.
I think they had a good name in that meeting, but then someone was like, no, redacted. Let's just call it Forspoken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's probably accurate.
Yep.
And like, oh, this is great. And then the higher up went, what Forspoken? That
Forspoken.
one. Yeah. And it was like,
right. There was probably a 30-minute meeting where someone spoke for 15 minutes about why Forspoken makes sense. And there's like some, deep in the woods, like they're so like deeply enmeshed in whatever the goofy lore is for this game.
Oh, you're just gonna beat the game and see a tree with it etched into the side of the tree,
right?
And then it'll cut to black,
right?
That's it.
We're doing it now. All right.
Right.
They can add that now because someone named it.
All right, Justin. Which one? Which one caught your eye the most? Which one?
I've been playing a lot of little cutesy kind of games lately, and there was something that caught my eye. I'm not sure what the name was of it, but it looks like a puzzle game. It looks like a family-friendly game where you take form and shapes
Takia.
of all kinds. That's Takia.
That's the one.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
Dude, they took the form of a crab and broke open a lock with a skill set. It's exploration, it's family friendly, it's cute. It looks like there's some meaning behind, the crabs. And it looks like someone made it out of thought instead of just out of, and it looks good. And visually it looks gorgeous. It's got kind of like a Sea of Thieves / Breath of the Wild kind of art style, and I think it's gonna rock a lot of people.
I saw watching it. That one stood out the most to me in the end. First, the vampire one, which I do want to talk about, Bloodhound. But by the end of it, that was the one that I liked the most. And the only thing that I didn't love about it was the people in it, the avatars, was like it was very Wii, like your Wii avatar style, like graphics. I would have loved to have seen them do something a little bit different there, but everything else about the game, like the environment and the world, loved all that. Every bit of that. Yeah. I just would have loved to have seen the characters get kind of that same treatment, because I felt they were almost out of place, because they reminded me of the Wii avatars too much. So they felt out of place in that.
I wonder if this game will do well on PlayStation. I feel like this game is perfect for Game Pass.
Agreed.
Agreed. Like, because the PlayStation gamer, the stereotypical PlayStation gamer, isn't looking for titles like this.
Like a Little Big Planet now.
Right. They're not looking for these types of games don't sell incredibly well on the PlayStation console. And I don't think they would sell particularly well on the Xbox family of consoles either. I think it would sell a little bit better because I think that that console skews a little bit younger and a little bit more family friendly, and obviously on Nintendo family of consoles, something like this fits perfect. Fits right in line with it. But as a Game Pass game, as a game that you can just download and try, where word of mouth will actually helps the game
a lot.
I think a game like this is built to succeed there. Unless Sony, and I think that's a place where Sony kind of dropped the ball in this presentation. While I thought the presentation was superb from the standpoint of showing people games and giving people reasons for wanting to own the console, they didn't do anything to help people who have looked at the way that Microsoft has marketed, positioned themselves in this generation as not only a place where you can play games, but a place where you can try games, right?
Yeah.
With Game Pass and create an ecosystem. Sony didn't do anything from that perspective, from a console, from a holistic community building perspective, to give people reasons to spend the money on the console. Like, it's COVID time. People are still either trying to figure out where their money is coming from or how to budget and what's going on with their lives, because things are very uncertain. If you haven't crossed over into the next gen puddle yet, or jumped into the next gen pool yet, you and money is tight, you may be looking for the console manufacturers to give you a reason to jump in with them. And one of those reasons may be that I've created value for you as the console manufacturer with the way we've built our system. And Microsoft has done that and then some, right?
Yeah.
With Game Pass, Ultimate. And and the last time we heard from Microsoft about Xbox and what's going on with Xbox, they told you that if you've got an Xbox One, you can play Xbox Series games via Game Pass and the xCloud on the console. So there isn't even really at this point right now super incentive to upgrade from an Xbox One or an Xbox One X to an Xbox Series X or even a Series S, because you can still play those games, and eventually you may want to upgrade, but you're still in the game.
That's pretty crazy that Xbox was willing to take that hit, and say, you don't need this new system. We want you to play our games regardless to what console you have. And that's something for the fans.
Right.
That's showing they care.
Yeah, and Sony, showing they care, and another way for them to make more money. But I don't begrudge them for doing that. But I do look at Sony, and last week I was saying that Sony doesn't feel like they have to do certain things because they're in first place, and that's it's either their prerogative or the hubris of being in first place that gives them a blind spot for different things that they could do to improve their standing. And I think this was another one of those times where they didn't have, because of that blind spot, they weren't thinking about what they could do, or didn't have something that they could present to people to show what it is that you're getting with the console beyond the game. And a game like the Chia really kind of highlights that deficiency.
Okay.
Devil's advocate.
Yes.
They have, just like you said, first place, everyone wants it, and the exclusives.
Right.
I agree that they do need to work on something. Maybe they're backrooming it. They don't have anything yet, and they didn't want to announce it.
Right.
Also, out of Devil's Advocate now, I'm sure they spent way too many billions of dollars with these Marvel deals to have the money or resources to work on stuff like that. But no, real talk. Insomniac's Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. They again did not give us much, almost nothing on Wolverine. What they gave us was a tease, a hint. It worked for me. It was the opening scene that we met Wolverine in the first X-Men movie in the bar. It's fantastic. Again, if you have not seen this, you need to pause, go watch the highlight reel at the very least, check these things out, and then come back and finish it. It looks great. Spider-Man 2, same. I have watched Spider-Man on stream. I have never been able to play it. It is a game that eventually I will play. Hopefully they'll put it on PC and I can play it tomorrow. Not going to happen. But I think that this one is going to be great. Obviously, the first one was so good. I imagine that they've been working on this since then. We've got, that's like 4 years since Spider-Man came out? 3? Something like 3, yeah.
Spider-Man.
3 years.
Okay.
Spider-Man was 2018.
Okay, so 3 years.
Almost to the day.
It's going to be a fantastic game. I'm excited for it. Huge Marvel things, though. Oh, and Guardians. So they've got 3 giant.
But that one is not Insomniac. That's Eidos.
That one's not
Insomniac,
but
also multiplat for Guardians.
Guardians multiplat, yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, all of they're back in the Devil's Advocate. They have so much pull with these games, with just Marvel alone, just putting that comic badge up. I can only imagine that the draw will be huge for these. And I would like to see Xbox kind of follow suit. As good as Xbox and Microsoft has been with the orienting it towards the gamer and making everything super, super easy and accessible, I think the only thing they're missing is what Sony has, and I think Sony knows it. That's why they're not doing it. That's why they're not worrying about it, is because Sony has the IPs, and Sony has, exclusives and not, but they have all these deals. They have the games. They have the stuff that people want. And I would love to see Microsoft at least jump in the pool with them. Like, I feel like we're missing out. And like, I have an Xbox. I don't have PlayStation. We all have Xboxes here. I know that you two have the PS4s. I do not. But I feel like, for me, like, I need more incentive than just, oh, it's great. Having Game Pass.
Well, you need more incentive than what? And it's great. It's great having Game Pass. You need more than that to
buy the title. So I had, we had Cam on here, and Cam was enough to get me to buy a title, but he fought super hard for Mass Effect. I mean, right. he killed it with an argument that our listeners and viewers, sorry, you didn't get to hear, because the recording failed, but he inspired me to buy a video game. Sure. And that's really, really difficult for me to do. And I would love to play these games. Like, I would hands down go out and buy Spider-Man if I could. But
yes,
I have to buy.
It's incredible. Yes.
But I have to buy a console on top of it. And now I get a PS4 for not. They're still expensive because no one can get a PS5. So PS4 prices are still high. But like, I could do it. But the cost of admission is high, and obviously I'm not saying that exclusives need to. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Hop over, but I would love to see maybe Microsoft give me something of equal kind of want. They haven't done it just yet.
I mean, man.
They do it differently.
I don't like that argument, right? Like, I don't like that complaint, because like you're comparing apples to hamburgers right now, right? Like, or to hammers, right? You're not even comparing another thing that you can eat, right? Like, why? Because Insomniac made an incredible a game based on a Marvel property. Right, and then made a quasi sequel to that was equally as good. Basically, a large piece of DLC, and they announced a bona fide sequel to that game, and also announced another Marvel game, from that same studio. But like, that's the thing that happens, right? And like, people think of Marvel as a multi-platform franchise, but it's just a franchise, right? And like, if somebody buys the license to produce a game from that franchise, right? Like, what are you gonna do? As it stands, there's 3 different companies right now. There's 3 different publishers right now making Marvel games.
Yeah, but
right?
Where's Microsoft's offering to Marvel to say, hey, I'll throw you ungodly amounts of money and we can give our fans the game?
Why?
Yeah. Because we want the game.
And then if you want the game, you got to pay Sony to get the game. Right?
I'm not paying Sony, man.
Then you're not getting the game. Then you're not getting the game. Like,
Sony will not earn my money. They broke that.
That is the thing about it. Like, I don't understand that argument. I understand being disappointed that you don't have the console, you don't have the content delivery device to play the content. Yes. I understand that part. But what I don't understand is looking to the content delivery provider that you currently have and asking them, why don't you have a thing like that? So, like, what are they going to give you? Squirrel Girl? Like, come on, man.
They could give me Captain Marvel.
For what? For what?
$1 billion, probably.
So you're going to get some random developer
hopefully
in the Microsoft house, in the Microsoft family of first-party developers to just make a Captain Marvel game because Sony knocked it out of the park with their Spider-Man game? No, man. Like,
I want to see
there,
it.
there is.
I'm
there
asking
is,
a lot. It's a big ask.
I don't want to see that. And like to the internet and to everybody that is saying that, I don't want to see that. Right? Like, here's perfect, right? So two things that could have happened. One is that around this time last year, there were a lot of rumors that Microsoft was going to buy another studio. It turns out that studio was Bethesda, right? It was ZeniMax. It was huge. It was ridiculous. Yep. What an incredible acquisition that was from Microsoft, right? And I'll get back to why you guys are whiny babies talking about that particular acquisition in
apples to hammers.
Right, exactly.
I'm not whining. I'm just asking them to get on board.
The rumor before that was that they were going to buy the WB and the WB.
I remember
studio,
that. Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
And so and I think there was a lot of smoke when it came to that. So there probably was fire, which means that there was a very good chance that Rocksteady would have been involved. Like, Rocksteady would have become a Microsoft studio, and then you could have gotten some DC properties, right? So there's still that possibility that WB Studios is still up for grabs, that you could go out there and you could go and get Rocksteady and they could start pumping out DC games. But here's the problem with that, right?
Big butt.
Big butt, right? Big butt. You guys watch movies, right? The reason that you want a Marvel game on the Xbox consoles is because you're big fans of the MCU. Right? You watch all the movies, you love all the movies, you sit and you watch them again, you do all the stuff, and you talk and you're quoting and you're doing, and you're telling your friends, and you're watching the movies and the TV shows and all that.
Marvel.
All that crap.
It could be
all that crap.
Something
all that crap.
equally as big.
All that crap. Now, we've all watched DC EU movies, right? We watched the Batmans versus the B's and versus the V's versus the S's. And we watched the Wonder Womans and the Wonder Womans in 1984, even though we don't want to. And we justiced all the leagues.
The original Wonder Woman.
Well, the original Wonder Woman was great. Wonder Woman 84 was a piece of shite. But
it was poopy.
Whoopsie. Right. Whoopsie.
Watch your profanity.
Right. I said that was a long eye. So anyway,
Hammer time.
But right, exactly. So like, all of those movies, or most of those movies, were really bad. And if you could sit back and you could think about why they were bad, it's because you know that in a boardroom, DC, the powers that be in Warner Brothers was looking at the success of the MCU and said, we want that too. And we don't want to wait the length of time it took for Marvel to organically build out the thing that became the juggernaut, that became the MCU. We want to do it now because they're doing it and they're making a bunch of money, and we want that same kind of money. And they went out and they tried to do it without putting in the proper respect. To do
this
it.
This is not my argument, by the way.
And it crashed and burned. But it is your argument. It is
around.
I don't need Spider-Man. I don't need Marvel. I just need the offering to be as equivalent to make me want to purchase the game. It could be unrelated.
What is that? There's Halo coming. Like, you're getting Halo. Let's go back to Bethesda Game Studios. You've got all of ZeniMax. You've got all of those games. There are all these exclusives that are coming to the Microsoft family of
there are
platforms.
Good ones.
Right. There are incredible ones coming.
He's not going to have that.
Eventually, maybe. Unless they get pushed again and again and again and again and again. And 5 years from now, we'll be talking about Halo Infinite when it was supposed to come out on the Xbox One.
Definitely. Eventually, definitely. So it is such a crybaby argument.
I want a good game. I want a game that's so good that makes me go,
man,
I wish I had
great games on the Xbox.
There are. And if you want to play Sony games, go get a Sony console.
Right. Like, there are great games on the Xbox. The only reason that you're not sitting around pining for the wish and the want to play Xbox games is because you got an Xbox console. So you get to play those games.
I do. I have the Xbox console,
so you get to play the games.
and I do.
Let's be serious. Let's be serious for a second. Say Jelly has a PlayStation 5. You know, he's one in a million. He's got a PlayStation 5.
Right.
It's right here next to me, by the way.
Everyone knows, hand on the Bible, Jelly's not going to go out there and buy a $70 game.
Nope.
He's going to sit there with a PlayStation 5 and not even play it.
I would buy.
Because he doesn't have something that Sony could have done.
I bought a $60 game that I could have played for free.
What game?
Mass Effect. Mass Effect is free in Game Pass, and I bought a $60 version of the same game because it's better.
It is better, but it is better.
I haven't played it yet, so I don't know.
Jelly, if you had a PS, see exactly. You bought a game, you didn't play it.
I bought it, but I bought it. I did the hard part.
If you had a PS5, you'd have two games, right?
I would have Spider-Man.
You have Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man
and you have Ratchet and Clank,
most likely.
Yeah, you'd have the Spider-Man Miles Morales big pack, right?
Absolutely.
So you'd have both of those games, and you'd have Ratchet and Clank, and those would be the two games that you have current.
I might not even have Ratchet and Clank.
Nope.
There you go.
I was never a big Ratchet and Clank fan.
Yeah, it's great though. It's great. It's a great game.
And on the other side, you have an Xbox with Game Pass for $20.
Right.
Not $70, $20.
Right.
And you have a month. Play how many games?
Not even.
And
$20.
there's so many good titles.
$15.
Yeah, technically, yeah. Well, Jelly has Ultimate. You know.
Right. No, that's $15 for Ultimate. Regular is $11.
Okay.
And Ultimate is $15.
Oh, I've been paying.
Yeah. So
but you have way more games, and there's so many good games. You've got Knights of the Old Republic in there, and you haven't even tried it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You've got Craftopia. You know,
Craftopia. You got no need to beg for a Marvel comparison on an Xbox console that's going to be crap. It's going to be crap.
Right. You confuse God of War. You confuse God of War with Oblivion.
I did.
You can unconfuse yourself by downloading Oblivion.
I tried Elder Scrolls, and I realized
Skyrim.
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 And I realized that I don't have time for games like that anymore.
No, you don't.
But you have time for Breath of the Wild.
I do have time for Breath of the Wild. It literally is living in my truck right now. I'm stuck in a parking lot game.
This is the problem we have. Jelly
Game Pass. So Game Pass eliminates Game Pass and xCloud eliminate your excuses for why you can't play those games on the go. Right? You can because now you have the ability to do
or try them at least.
Right, exactly. Now you have the ability to do that.
I don't play on my phone. That's yucky. Don't talk about that.
Well, not so much. You got a big enough display. You get yourself. You can get your Xbox controller with Bluetooth. Bluetooth will connect to your phone
automatically,
and then you can connect and you can play, and you can
maybe
Bluetooth. You can Bluetooth to your phone and still connect to your game console without having to do any kind of goofy resetting or any of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all there and it's set up and it's ready to go for you. I really have a problem with that argument. I really have a problem with the oh man, why can't Marvel? Yeah, why can't Marvel do? Why can't Xbox give us a Marvel equivalent?
Unneeded.
Yeah.
I would like it.
What is it? What would you like? I don't know.
You know what I would like? I would like Green Lantern done well by Microsoft.
Oh goodness!
Let's
just keep going. Just skip it.
Right.
All right. Wow. Hey, since Cicero's ready,
he's just going to say Forspoken. He's just going to say Forspoken from now on. Everything else is
time. We're testing mites. I've been testing Cicero.
Man.
Forspoken.
Okay.
Oh god.
You know what? We'll talk about this later, but a good iteration of Green Lantern would be fantastic. We need it because we've had the Hal Jordan of Ryan Reynolds.
Yep, Forspoken.
Right. There you go.
All right. Test your might.
Test your might.
In honor of exclusives, losing exclusivity, as I mentioned earlier, we have KOTOR, one of the biggest exclusive releases with Xbox is going to be remastered on Sony. So their direct competitor just got the exclusive. It's not technically exclusive because it will be on PC, but it's kind of exclusive. So what exclusive would make the best port to another system? And this can be Sony to Nintendo. This could be Nintendo to computer. This can be computer to console, any consoles. But what exclusive would make the best switch to console or vice versa from console to PC?
Go first.
Gosh, this is fun because we have no guests this week. We only have the regulars.
Right.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Closest without going over. No, I'm just kidding. Closest to the number gets it.
Is it Green Lantern?
Right.
That is
No.
not a number.
I'm going to go with 7.
I was going to go with 8.
Duck got it on the nose. 7.
Oh, 7.
So, Duck, you choose. You go first or you go second.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. That's fine.
All right.
Take the lead point on this one for you, Cicero.
All right. I was ready to go. Okay, go ahead, man.
All right. Back in the day, there was this game on PS Vita. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm going to go with... now, did you pick a singular game or did you pick a franchise?
I picked the singular game.
Okay. All right.
In my brain.
It would have to be a singular game as an exclusive. Although it
could be a franchise.
It could be an exclusive franchise, but it would have to be one. I would make you choose only one game.
Okay.
I'm going to go with God of War.
And where is it going?
It's going to PlayStation Vita. No. It's going to Xbox.
All right. And before you tell me more, Cicero, what is your game and where is it going?
So which God of War? We're talking about God of War remake?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the remake, yeah.
Okay.
Because I can't do like the pack of 3 or anything like that.
Right. Okay. So then, I'm shout out to Jelly for this one. Everyone catch the echo. I'm going with Marvel Spider-Man for the Xbox.
Forspoken.
Yes.
All right. Duck.
Marvel Spider-Man.
Fight it out, my friend.
I had to go there, Cicero. All right. Well, God of War franchise that's been going for a long time. Xbox needs more single-player adventures with great stories. Both these games that we've chosen have those. Both of them do. Xbox needs more single-player stories with adult themes, with more adult messages. Halo's coming out, first-person shooter, great campaigns. But we got God of War, the story of a father and a son who just lost their mom, pretty much. Going through, fighting creatures, great visuals, captivating story, great themes of father and son throughout the entire campaign. Really hits you in the soul. Greatness comes from PlayStation. They're not lying. I'm never going to say that, they don't make great games, because they do. Those single-player experiences is where it's at. And I think God of War would hit homes on the Xbox, even if it's not in Game Pass. Even if it's a paid game, it would still sell. So many people want to play God of War and don't have a PlayStation. God of War is a console seller.
All right. Cicero. Spider-Man.
So my game of the generation was Insomniac Marvel's Spider-Man. It only makes sense that my game of the generation would be the game that I would love to see ported to a different console. And one of the reasons that I love Spider-Man was first off, Spider-Man personally biased, my own personal bias. Spider-Man is my favorite character in mythology.
Ooh,
I love Spider-Man.
High praise.
All right, I love Spider-Man. But beyond that, the thing that I appreciated from that game, the reason that it was my game of the generation was not only because it was so competent and well done, it was its accessibility. It was the fact that I felt like anyone could sit down, anyone who had an understanding of the controllers and how the controllers are mapped and stuff like that could sit down and learn the game and become proficient in playing the game and being successful, and would be good enough to finish the game. And in fact, to this day, it is still the PlayStation game, the AAA title PlayStation game with the most platinum trophies. Or percentage of platinum trophies, meaning platinum trophies, for those of you who are not initiated, for Sony, means that you have 100% completed. So if you've gotten a platinum trophy in a game, that means that you have accomplished all of the achievements. You've done everything that is available, and have gotten 100% of the achievements available for that game. And this game, per capita, is the AAA title with the most platinum trophies earned by the populace. That means that the game is accessible. That means that not only is the game accessible, but the game is fun enough that people want to accomplish all of the things to get that platinum trophy. And more people do that, and when by and large most people don't. The game is incredible. It is incredible, and it is, quite frankly, a travesty that there are gamers around that haven't been able to play it as a result of the fact that they were locked out of that console, such as our illustrious host.
Kind words about me and the game. Justin, what's your rebuttal?
It's hard. It's real hard, Cicero. You picked a hard one here, because I high praise Spider-Man. I do. Phenomenal game. Huge open world. Great story. Accessibility. I still think the story of God of War, though, hits a bit harder for me, at least.
Right.
I feel like if Sony were to give us Spider-Man, give us one of the Marvels when they're coming out with more.
Right.
I feel fans would be upset. Sony fans would be upset. Xbox fans would be upset they didn't get everything. You're looking at one of the biggest Spider-Man games and another one on the way. And I feel like Xbox fans would want it all. They would want it all. One would be good, and the playability, and it would be great for a while. Then they'd be like, where's Miles Morales? That's just DLC, right? Where's Wolverine? Where's Spider-Man 2? They'd always want more. God of War is something that you hit hard and you walk away from, and you come back later and hit hard again. It's not something that you're expecting more content to be dropped into. You're not expecting the next game right away. You're enjoying the story as it hits you like a ton of bricks. And I feel like God of War, yes, is a little bit more difficult to learn, but the story is what captivates the player. And that's what comes from Sony, is the greatness in the story. And I think that single player experience, going through father and son, learning the moves, fighting the bosses, I think it would be a better drop on Xbox for Xbox fans.
Rebuttal.
So there was one thing that you said, Duck, that really kind of resonated with me, and that was that the Xbox fans would want more. If you get Spider-Man, Spider-Man's great, and then you'd sit back and you'd say, oh, well, wait a minute, what about Miles Morales? What about Spider-Man 2? You know that your game that you're arguing for is a game that just had, like, 10 minutes ago, we were just talking about the sequel to that game, right? Like, so that game that you're talking about, God of War, great game, right? Fantastic story. Everything that you said about the game, incredible, is 100% accurate, right? Incredible story, poignant, impeccably done. Voice acting, graphically, mechanics, just spectacular game. But it doesn't have the things that the game that I chose has. It also doesn't have, or it also suffers from the same things you tried to knock my game for having, or for not having, which is, oh, well, we're only going to get one of the games in a proposed franchise, and there are sequels, there's stuff coming out, that the fans would want more, people would want all that stuff. All of those things are true, that are also true for God of War. But the other thing, I think the knock against God of War, one thing that you didn't say, and one thing that you did talk about with my game, I said it's accessible, right? So on two fronts, on multiple fronts, it's more accessible than God of War. On the front of being able to feel competent and proficient as a player in the game, and that will incentivize you, will challenge you, but not punish you, and allow you to actually finish the story. I think Spider-Man is much more successful in that endeavor than God of War. And the other part of that is, the other part of the accessibility is the fact that one game is rated T, and the other game is rated MA, right? So God of War is a great story for adults, but it's a great story for adults to play for adults. Whereas Spider-Man is a game that adults can play, and that their kids can also play under supervision of the parent. Because there are more mature themes, but not adult themes in Spider-Man. But God of War is an adult game. It is not a game that your kids can play, right? Even if they're 10, 11, 12, obviously you use your discretion. You're a parent. You're their parent, right? So you use your discretion. But it's not something that I would send my kid to the store to buy.
Okay.
Right? Where I would send them to buy Spider-Man.
I feel like if it was going the other direction and you were taking a family-friendly game from the Xbox and taking it to PlayStation, that's what they need. They need more family-friendly games. But I feel like going in reverse, Xbox already has a plethora of family-friendly games available. What they're in need of is that single player, I need to have a system to play this game. So the single player adult themed games is what Xbox is slacking on right now.
All right.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I would say yes, you're not wrong. But when the game is Spider-Man, they're like Microsoft. So Microsoft does have a lot of family friendly games, or games that are more family focused, and fewer single player adultish games in the same way that PlayStation seems to have an abundance of them. But when the game is Spider-Man, you make an exception. It doesn't matter. There are no Spider-Man on the Xbox.
That's why it's a hard argument. Jelly, take over.
Yeah. So to be frank, Cicero came out swinging real hard. Justin, you had great points about Xbox needing more adult-themed games, and the game itself being playable, learnable, super fun, engaging, awesome world, awesome story, and Xbox needs those good story games and stuff like that. I think Cicero came out and just you were both saying the same thing about his game. He did really well hitting back against your game. It's hard to beat down Spider-Man. Bias is out of it. I think he just argued it really well. Obviously, I would like to see Spider-Man on the Xbox.
I would like to see either of those
games. He knows that. That being said, Cicero gets the point, but I feel personally attacked by both of you in that, saying these Xbox owners are going to want more. I saw that, and I'm going to remember going forward in this. Just so you know, personally attacked. No Man's Sky gets redemption reviews on Steam after the game has changed for the better. So what game deserves a second chance or a comeback or a better look? Now, Cicero, you on the last one. So, Duck, you hold the power again. You going first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We're ready.
This is the question that took me the longest to think about. I don't know if it's the same for you, Cicero, but it's tough to think of a game that's, not so hot anymore or failed immediately or just needs a second glance because it's, a hidden gem.
Right.
I chose a game that came out back in 2015.
Okay.
This game is going to turn 6 this year.
Wow.
Still
on October
6th.
6th. Yeah, on October 6th, it's going to turn 6. This is the game of Rock Band 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to go a little bit different here because, I'm a fan. It's the second most spent money game that I own. And they have been doing a lot of stuff to bring it up to modern times. There was just an update this last May.
Nice.
And they've been doing little tweaks here and there to bring it, still updating the game this late, 6 years later. There's still a fan base there, and I feel like if it were to get either a rework or a new version, I feel like the comeback would be pretty crucial. Go ahead, yours.
All right. Well, next up for me is, or at least, I didn't have as difficult a time thinking about what my answer would be.
Mm-hmm.
I was just worried that you would take my answer.
Ooh.
But I didn't.
He did not.
And
I'm intrigued now.
You did not.
Okay.
But definitively, the answer for a game that has been overlooked, needs a second chance, needs some people to take a look at it, is a single-player, adult-based game on the Xbox family of consoles.
Oh, please don't.
And that is Quantum Break.
Okay.
Quantum Break.
All right. Needs, Remedy. Good stuff.
Yeah. Needs a second look.
Okay. You just mean like a second look, like more people looking into it now after it's been out for a while?
Yeah. Okay. After it's been out for a while, I think it doesn't need all of the work the same way that No Man's Sky did.
Yeah.
I think the game is as good as it is. It just wasn't appreciated for what it was when it happened.
Yeah.
I think people need.
I hear you. All right. So,
I'm intrigued with these. So Rock Band 4, Rock Band 4, not fur. Rock Band 4 versus Quantum Break. I'm familiar.
What year did Quantum come out by chance?
2016. 2016.
Wow, 1 year after Rock Band.
Right. It was
close.
First AAA title, original title for the Xbox.
Yeah, it was expensive.
So.
It was.
What I want to hear is how your game will be better with a second look versus the other one.
Okay. I'll go first. So with Rock Band, they came out with Rock Band 4 Rivals, just recently, maybe like a year or two ago. And that was a rework on the entire game. It had a career mode. It had a rock mode where you'd go through and hear like interviews of people while you played through the songs. It constantly is getting song updates. The last thing I bought on it was Billie Eilish, I think. And they've got a lot of stuff on there now. But I really think that the integration of your band versus other bands, which they've added, and having a roster and medals that you earned over time, weeks, over a week period, over a month period, kind of like a season pass would be, but you're building up your rep. as a team or as a solo artist playing whatever instrument you choose, and you earn stuff based on that, is really cool. They've really done a lot of work to make it modernized, and it's 6 years old, and they're still doing updates. There's still a fan base out there that wants it. And, I read an article recently about them actually starting to maybe make a new version coming to the next gen consoles. And I really think that right now it's very hard. People have the game, but the peripherals are kind of like near and far between. If you have them, you have them. If you don't, you're going to pay money to get them. And to re-release or to release a new version of the game, a second working, a new work, now with the pandemic and new music, I think Rock Band and Guitar Hero could make a comeback. With Rock Band being 4 people, vocalist, guitar, bass, and drums, a new version coming out on the next gen, even though your old peripherals, people that have them can still use those because those work now. You're going to be able to play the new game with all the new content and the new visuals. I think that would be a great game that's always been a big seller coming back into the new age.
All right. And Quantum Break, how would it, what would the second look do that would make it look better than Rock Band 4?
So, first and foremost, what happened with this game was that it came out, it was ahead of its time, right? And that was part of the issue. For those of you who don't know what Quantum Break is a third-person action game made by Remedy, the same makers of Control and the Alan Wake franchise, where Shawn Ashmore, yes, that Shawn Ashmore of Bobby Drake, Iceman fame from the X-Men films, plays a guy who gets a power that allows him to do the stuff that manipulates time and do the whiz bang widget thing that is the quantum break, right? He gets to break the quantums. But one of the and that part of it just by itself was really cool. There was a story, there was stuff going on. There were things that were happening, and you get to use these powers to try and figure out exactly what was going on throughout the course of the game. But one of the other widgets and gadgets and hooks, gimmicks of this game was that you also have, in between each chapter of the game, real-time videos, where it's basically like an episode of this sci-fi show that takes place in the world that bridges the gap between where you left off in the game, in the chapter of the game, to where you'll start in the next chapter. And what was cool was it wasn't just Shawn Ashmore in the game, but there was also Lance Reddick, who was the really deep voice black dude from Fringe,
Yes.
who's awesome, and Dominic Monaghan Moynihan, who was Pippin in Lord of the Rings, and also the dude in Lost. Yeah, Charlie in Lost. Aidan Gillen, who was from The Wire and also from Game of Thrones.
So good.
There are so many. What a great cast this was. And the cool thing about those interstitials were they were like 25-30 minutes long, and they were good. Like they were, like sci-fi television good. And on top of that, there were differences in the video based on the things that you did in the game in that chapter. So there could be clues that you missed or something like that wouldn't get referenced, or if you found them, they would get referenced in the little video part that played. So part of the problem with this game when it initially launched was people were still not really sure about what was going on with the Xbox. The Xbox had a bad PR cycle, and when the game released, they had 2 versions of the game that you could get. So you could get the regular version of the game without the video, but if you added the video into the game, it was like the game became like 100 gig.
Yeah.
Back when we didn't like back when 100 gigs was ungodly.
Yeah, that was a lot back
in
then.
terms of the amount of space. You know, again, we're talking about 500 gigabyte hard drives where the usable space was probably about 400, maybe, maybe 380. So, so you're talking about double-digit percentages of your hard drive space dedicated to just this one game. And people really balked at that. And they balked at the Xbox, and they balked at what was going on with it. And they really didn't give this game a chance. And had this game been released a year, 18 months later, when Game Pass was available, then I think this game would have had a different experience and people would have had different experiences with it. But alas, that's not what happened. And as a result, people missed out on a great game. The difference between this game and Rockstar is that the barrier to entry is lower. It's all about accessibility. So yes, you want people to try these games out, and you want people to have those experiences, but you only need one person to have an experience with Quantum Break. You don't need multiple people. You don't need to go out and try and hunt and find controllers and all sorts of accessories, as Duck alluded to already. So it's ready to made, and I already got another argument as to why this is the better game. But I'll save that for the clincher.
Okay, so I won't disagree with you that the video and the acting was great in Quantum Break from what I played. I did not finish it. I bought it day one.
Okay.
The video was great. The episodic, show. I'm a big fan of Pippin. I'm a big fan of Charlie from Lost. So I really got it because he was in it. And he's great, but from my experience and from a lot of the internet's is it was ahead of its time and there was a lot of bugs. It was a very expensive product to make, not just because of the acting in the show, but because of what it allowed you to do in the game. And it was a failed experiment is what I'm trying to say. A failed experiment. It did well for the few that got through it and for the show aspect. But as for the gameplay, it was very buggy. And what I'm saying about Rock Band is the re-release would bring those instruments into the new households. If you had the old instruments, you could use them, but you don't have to hunt those down when it comes with the game.
Right.
And I feel like the accessibility is a big one to bring in people. A 100 gigabyte game like Warzone is a big chunk of your hard drive even nowadays.
Sure.
And I feel like the new content coming out and, the fact that they didn't bring out Medium to try and rework this old concept. They didn't bring, Alan Wake now to remastering to get it even better and bring that back. If they were to re-release Quantum Break without the bugs, with a smaller space that you need to install, I think it would do great. But as for Rock Band, it's simple to just make a new game, add new music, and re-release it with new instruments.
All right, last thoughts, Cicero.
So Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that Rock Band was one of the most expensive games you've ever bought, or the most expensive?
For me, yes, the select few whales. It's second on the most money I've spent in games.
Okay, so the second most money that you ever spent on games you want to bring back. Some of my most favorite and most fun and most fond, all F words, memories in gaming are Rock Band gaming with my friends.
Yeah.
And just incredible. So much fun. But here's the difference between the game that you are arguing, the game that I am arguing. In order for people to have the game that you are arguing for, even if it is not as expensive as it was, it will still be expensive to acquire, right? And
But
on top of that,
$79.99, which is the normal price of a game nowadays.
$79.99 for
the guitar,
the game and a guitar.
Yes.
And one guitar. Mm-hmm. But you want to play this with people. It is Rock Band. It's not solo act.
It's true.
Right? So in order to do that, there are several more accessories that need to be acquired. And as a result of that, right? So you know, a $10 premium for a plastic controller to go along with the game is not that big of a deal. But when you look at the totality of the band of Rock Band, you're invested in several $100, or not several hundred, but at least another $100-$150 in order to get all the pieces together, right? That's sizable. If people want to play Quantum Break without the bugs, they get Game Pass and they download it. Now it's still large, right? It's still probably around 100. Yeah, it's still probably around 80, 90 gigs to download, but I don't think people have the same shock of that size as they did in 2016. And I think that as a result of it being a Game Pass game, that they are willing to pay the cost of temporary space to try out a game that may turn out to be a fantastic game, one of their favorite. The potential to find a new hidden gem, and that cost of download space, download time is much more palatable than finding the controllers I need in order to create this mythical Rock Band in the time of 6 feet social distance.
All right. I've heard enough.
All right.
To be fair, I have not played Rock Band since it was just Rock Band. I've never played any of the following iterations. And I've never heard of Quantum Break before.
I think I might have said medium when I meant control during that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, same difference.
I'm glad you got me.
Yes.
Yeah, Forspoken.
Exactly right. I'm taking a quantum leap here and going with Quantum Break. I think that one would get the most from a second chance, a second look. Justin, the way you're talking about it, sounds like Rock Band has still got a lot of looks. If they're still updating it and it's been 6 years, my guess is it has quite a few eyes on it. The little information that I was digging up had Quantum Break as a pretty high selling game, one of the highest actually Microsoft IP ever.
It was well
marketed.
Well marketed, right. Yeah.
So, but I think it would obviously get the better second chance, and maybe have people playing it. That being said, we're on to the next one, and it's one that we already covered, Cicero and I.
I just wrote Forspoken on my notes.
So
my other option of pick was DJ Hero. Can you imagine?
Xbox brings a big old bag of money to either Marvel or DC. And by Xbox, obviously we're talking about Microsoft. Which superhero or developer makes the exclusive game? Well, which superhero and developer makes the exclusive game? So, which developer and who's the hero?
You go ahead first this time. I went first twice.
Oh, man. Let's see. I've got to look up the Microsoft Studio. All right. Double Fine.
Okay. Res. Yeah. And Psychonauts.
Right.
Okay.
Actually.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Let's look through here really quickly. And
I've got a curveball, so
you know what? this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Double Fine is going to make a Deadpool.
Okay.
All right, give me a little. We're gonna go one shot on this. So you gave your pitch right now, and then Justin, you give your pitch. I'm gonna make a ruling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back and we're gonna come back and give you our information about it, or do you want me to give you information about it right now?
Right, meow.
Right, meow. Okay.
Meow.
Yeah, you giving your whole pitch right now. No rebuttals, no nothing.
Here we go, meow. So Double Fine makes a Deadpool game. Why Double Fine? Because Double Fine has that irreverent, perverse, off the wall, kind of out of left field humor, right? And they do things differently and weird. What if we get a Deadpool game that's just inside Deadpool's head? What would the inside of Deadpool's head be like? It would be like a Double Fine. It would be incredibly weird and just bizarre, and everything would be shaped funny, and the colors would be wild, and it would be grotesque, and there'd be a lot of fart jokes, and there'd be just
chimichangas.
Yeah, there'd be just all sorts of things kind of off kilter, and that is exactly what Deadpool needs is Double Fine making the next Deadpool.
That's a fantastic pitch.
What kind of gameplay would it have? Like, would it be top down like Psychonauts, or would it be like like Batman?
I think it would be lots of different. I think it would be like Nier Automata, which
you
is
go like first person. You go all over the place.
Right. It's like 17 different types of games at the same time. So there'd be like a stage where it'd be top down isometric. Then there would be like third person action.
Because it'd be different aspects of his mind, I guess.
Absolutely.
It'd be crazy.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's pretty good. I like that.
I like it. Yep.
Thank you.
Justin, what have you got? Curveball me.
Shout out to Mike. I grew up watching this pretty small TV show on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Smallville.
Oh, yeah, small. It's pretty small.
And now everybody really would love to have a Superman game. The problem with that is, how do you make a game with a god character as the main lead? So let's take it back a few notches. Let's let Don't Nod Entertainment, the creators of Life is Strange, the episodic, game that came out, and there's a new one coming out soon.
Right.
Let's have them take Superman and put it in an episode like game where you don't have all the powers right away. You're back in Smallville, fighting little crimes, fighting bad guys, meeting Lex Luthor, moving your way through the story, earning your abilities through chapters. So you're not in an open world of craziness that you can just do whatever you want, like God mode, and have a terrible Superman game like we've had in the past, 64. Let's have it episodic, grounded Superman game where you're learning the story and meeting the characters that build him as a character. And have him meet Lex as a friend at first.
Right.
And he'll remember that. He'll remember that on the side of the screen when you do something. I think that would be good. Having that rooted Superman game would allow it to flourish. Instead of having that free roam that everyone's like, that's the problem. We can't make it because it's, Spider-Man, he can die. Superman, no. So it's like having that rooted aspect of a Superman game is the only way that it's going to work. And having him gain his abilities over time through episodes, through learning characters, through having the backstory is going to make for a next version of the game to have even more powers and keep moving that story forward. And I would die if this game came out. I was the hugest Smallville fan. I own all of them on DVD. And I think that if you take Superman before he knew how powerful he was going to be, before he had the power of flight, before he knew what heat vision was, and teach him these things over time through boss battles or fights through the chapters that you can pick up and put down just like a comic book.
Only if somebody says somebody saved me.
Oh, that's
gotta
the
be in
theme
the
song.
game.
Yep, theme song.
I thought I was going Deadpool. I am going with Smallville. The Deadpool game sounds amazing.
Oh God,
not
I
gonna
would
lie,
play that.
but Smallville has a small place in my heart.
It has a large place in your heart.
Well, it has a large place in my heart.
It's got a small place because gotta be puns with puns and small.
You gotta
it's got a bigger place than Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah.
Whoa. We watched Smallville with the family. My son loves it. I love it. My wife loves it. That's like one of the ones that all of us can watch. If I got to play through that and gain powers as Superman or Clark Kent, that'd be so fun. Oh man. The Blur.
No one knows his name for spoken.
Right.
All right, gentlemen. It's time for the weekly $15 challenge. If you listened last week, we've been doing a challenge, and we'll have a graphic here. And I'm actually going to read the games, but there's tiers. There's a $5 tier, a $4 tier, a $3 tier, a $2 tier, and a $1 tier. This week, you are buying each other's games. It's going to be a snake style draft. You have $15 to purchase the games, and in the $5 tier, we have Madden 04.
These are all sports titles.
This one's all sports titles. Thank you very much. So $5 tier, we have Madden 04. We have NBA 2K11. We have FIFA 13, NCAA Football 14, and Street Volume 2. In the $4 tier, we have MVP Baseball 05. We have Fight Night Round 3. We have NFL Street 2. Then we have Tiger Woods PGA Tour 04 and SSX Tricky. The $3 tier holds Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, UFC. We've got SmackDown versus Raw. 07, we have Need for Speed Underground 2 and Rocket League. In the $2 tier, we have NBA Jam. Oh, what have we got here? We've got College Hoops 2K8. I haven't seen that in a long time. We've got Super Mario Strikers, Skate, and NFL Blitz. Then in the $1 tier, we've got Wii Sports.
Backyard Baseball.
Thank you very much. We've got NBA Live 2005, and then ESPN 2K5, as well as the Mario Sonic Olympic Games. Fantastic. All right. You guys know how this one works. Who's starting?
I'm going to let Cicero go first. Well, I won the last argument, so he goes first regardless. Cicero I want to see if he's going to be nice or mean, because I don't know what the percentage of these you've played, but sports are tough with me.
The percentage of games that of this list that I've played is very, very
okay.
Coming in at 80 to 90.
So
and mine's like 20 to 30.
Right. So we are picking
each other's.
Yeah, we are picking each other's. Let's see. I'm gonna be nice.
You want to give them a good time or a bad time?
Yeah, I'm gonna go big first and say NBA Street Volume 2, $5.
Ooh,
I
first
appreciate
my
that.
First pick.
It's the only one on the 5 I've played. I'm gonna go ahead and give you your pick from last week.
Okay.
SSX Tricky.
Oh, look at that. All right. Okay. All right. So you go again. That's your for $4. You go SSX Tricky.
And then I will give you jeez. I know Fight Night Round 3 was great. It's a great game.
Yes.
I know you can fight that to the tooth and bone.
Yeah.
Let's give you SmackDown Raw 2007.
Okay.
$3
versus Raw for 2007 for $3. All right. That is your second pick. So my next pick will be I was going to give you all EA Sports big titles, but you took one of those and gave them to me.
It's in the game.
That's a nice guy. That's how it's done.
Yeah. You know what? I will give you the other EA Sports big title on this list and give you NFL Street.
Okay.
at $4. So I am currently up to $9.
You're running out of money quick.
Yes. So $9 with those games. And for my third pick, I am going to give you a skateboard game.
Ooh.
Oof. Which one?
For $2.
Oh, there's only one.
There are two.
There's
two. There are?
There's Tony Hawk.
Oh, there are
I will
two.
give you Skate. You will get Skate, EA's skateboarding game.
Fantastic game.
Fantastic game. Very underrated.
Okay.
So that gets me to $11.
$11. You've got $3 to spend and some pretty good titles left on the board here. But right now, Justin.
Go with some classic sport games. I know you've played all those. Let's give you Fight Night. You were nice with NBA Street. Let's give you Fight Night round 3.
Okay.
That's a $4.
All right. So you gave me
7.
You're up to $11 right now.
11. Yeah. Okay, and then I will give you Backyard Baseball.
Ah, you did it. Okay. All right.
It's a good game.
They're $12. Okay. So you give me I will see your Backyard Baseball and raise you a Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games.
Good game.
For
good
$1 as well. So I am at $12.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will also go to the $1 bin and give you
the clearance
NBA Live 2005.
All right.
This is for those of you who aren't initiated. This is Carmelo Anthony on the cover from Denver. NBA Live.
NBA 5 Live.
NBA Live 2000 for $1.
For $1.
Brings me to 13.
$13. 13 bucks. All right. I don't remember where you were at, Justin.
I'm at 12.
12?
Tricky,
yeah,
SmackDown, Fight Night,
yeah,
and Backyard Baseball.
Yeah.
All right. $3 to spend.
I gotta give you a basketball game, don't I now?
Okay. I don't have
to. Let's go with. I'm at 12.
Yep, 12. $3 to spend.
Let's give you the clearance bin for ESPN 2K5.
NFL 2K5. Okay. All right. You got $13.
And then you got $2 left. I'll give you Blitz on the $2.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, NFL Blitz for $2. And you have, let's see, what did I give you? I gave you a basketball game. I gave you a football game. I
got two basketball, one
basketball
football, and a skating game.
And a skating game and an Olympic game.
Olympics got a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, you got an Olympic game. But you know what you don't have? What you don't have is a soccer game. Super Mario
Striker.
Oh, this is where you give me my game from last time.
Right.
And I gave you your game with SSX.
Yeah. Super Mario Strikers for $2. That is my $15.
All right.
And I think we're 15-15. That's it, right?
We're 15 and 15. Justin, your game set is NBA Street 2, NFL Street 2, Skate, Mario and Sonic Olympics, NBA Live 2005, and Mario Strikers. Cicero, your list is as follows: SSX Tricky, SSX Tricky,
Tricky, yes.
Words are hard. We've got SmackDown vs. Raw, Fight Night Round 3, Backyard Baseball, NFL 2005, and NFL Blitz.
Okay.
Who's got the better one?
Well, who's arguing first? I think Justin should.
All right, there we go.
All right. Well, as everyone that listens knows, I play sports games every single day.
Absolutely.
And I played a lot of the knockoff sports games. I'll give it that. You know, there's some good ones on here that I have played. So, and I was given one of my favorites, actually my favorite basketball game, in the 3D realm, that I've played in my life, and that's going to be NBA Street Volume 2. One of the best basketball games I've played, minus one that wasn't selected. And the amount of moves that you can do just to make the game fun. Throwing the ball off the backboard, then dunking it, passing it to a teammate, alley-oops. You know, it brought the nostalgia back from NBA Jam into the new world. And I love that game very much. NBA Street Volume 2 was a fun, quick-paced 3-on-3 gameplay. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. Then I got NFL Street 2, a little bit of a grittier NFL game. Not like Blitz the League, but it had some fun moments. You know, you're playing football and you're getting a little bit rougher. Yeah, one of the best skating games outside of Tony Hawk ever created. You know, the visuals is where it took the cake on Tony Hawk. It looked a lot better. And then we got the Mario games. You got Mario Olympics, multiple games in there. Playing against Sonic, one of the first times you fight against Sonic before Super Smash Brothers. And then we got Mario Strikers, one of the best soccer games that we heard about last week. You got Mario Luigi playing one of the best sports and one of the biggest sports in the world with special moves. Some of the biggest mascots playing one of the biggest sports. What can go wrong with that? And NBA Live 2K 205. 2005. Good basketball game.
All right.
Just to round it out.
There you go.
Cicero, what do you got on your list?
So you know what? Let me start with backyard baseball. Backyard baseball is a seminal title in a franchise of backyard sports. You're not just playing baseball, but you're playing with the characters. These characters persist through all of the other sports. So you wind up having a great excuse me. You wind up having a great time with characters. Thank you. With yes, exactly. Gesundheit. So there you wind up having a great time with these characters because they're fun and characters that you get to play with in these backyard baseballs, reminiscent of the Sandlot, and you know, and all your times hanging out with your friends back in wherever you're from. So backyard baseball, always fun, always great, always cute, always beautiful. Then let's talk about NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz is what Midway made after NBA Jam, after the success of NBA Jam. They made their own arcade version of hyper realistic version of the of football, gridiron football, and you got the licenses of all the players. You get to hit people really hard. You get to do all the stuff. It's fun. It's great. What a great time to be able to play a quick game of arcade-ish football with your friends, where your favorite team matches up against their favorite team, and you get to beat the brakes off of somebody. So much fun. And then, speaking of beating the brakes off of someone, you get SmackDown, you get Raw, you put them together, and you get yet another THQ Ukes great game, and that's SmackDown versus Raw. That was the first time that they added SmackDown into the mix for those games, added more to the story. Obviously, the create a wrestler portion of it was great, so you could actually create somebody, go out there in the square circle and just beat down on somebody. And it was fantastic for that. But if you really wanted to fight, you really wanted to feel the mechanics of really playing someone in the squared circle, you went out and you fought with Queensberry rules, and you went Fight Night round 3. What a Fight Night, great series. Missed that series, but what a great game. It's probably the best game in that series, Fight Night round 3. Just super good. It really, with the analog sticks, allowed you to feel like you were punching, that the movements felt natural. It felt intuitive to play both offense and defense and do well in that game. Great mechanics when you got knocked down. A really good story and compelling story mode. Really fun game. SSX Tricky. SSX brought the EA Sports big offshoot and made it popular, that allowed us to get NBA Street and NFL Street. SSX Tricky was probably the best of them all. Just a fantastic snowboarding game. Probably, I would argue, the most engaging snowboarding game that we've ever received out of anything ever. I mean, great game. I'm glad to be able to have that for in my collection for less than $15. But if you notice, I saved one game for last. And that game,
Duffel 2K5,
is ESPN's NFL 2K5. Anybody that
NFL.
is,
That's right.
If anybody is a sports fan and a sports gamer, you know that this game has GOAT status. It's got GOAT status because in 2004, when this game released, it released at the same time as Madden. Madden was a $50 game, and this was a $20 game. And this game, ESPN NFL 2K5, done by the good folks at 2K, this was their effort to try and make sure that people started buying their game, and they did. People bought that game, but it was the last officially licensed NFL game not made by EA. And the crazy thing about it is that game is now 18 years old. It's almost as old as GTA 5. And there are things in that game that still have not been recreated in Madden. So there are still people to this day beating the drum for NFL 2K5, rightfully so, because this game had a full-on halftime cutscene that was done by what's his name, Berman, the Boomer, from ESPN. They had a post-game show done by him that was a digital recreation of him in the studio, where he talked about the developments that happened during the course of each week in real time. So like you would get updates about other games at the end of your game. There was game studio and game film and practices and stuff like that you added to each during your career, that you added to the games that still hasn't really been matched by Madden this year. They're trying to do some of that stuff with the scouting and the things that they're doing, but they still haven't matched that game. And EA has put out 17 different versions of Madden since this game was released, and they still haven't done the things that were in this game and was available for $20. Thank you very much, Duck, for giving me this game. I won because that game's the GOAT.
Oh, wait a second. Let me take you back.
Wait a second is right.
Yeah.
But wait for me, because I'm the judge.
Here come the judge.
Oh, no rebuttal?
I don't think we need a rebuttal. I mean, to be fair, for me, this is a list of games of which I've only played 2 of them, and you each have 1 of them. And you can make all these sports ball references and all these cool things that I don't care about, and I'm sure the listeners love and wow. But for me, it comes down to Skate and SSX Tricky, which are two of my most played favorite games of all time. Justin, you're holding one of them, and Cicero, you got the other one. Now, to me, it's Skate versus SSX Tricky. I've poured equal time into both of these. I love both of them. So, I think it's coming down to heart behind the arguments. And, number 2, what you got to back it up with. What I would play. And I got all the information here that I need. I'm obviously going to go with Justin. Because behind you, you got Street Volume 2 and you got Strikers. So you're giving me soccer, which I played for most of my life. And the only other game that I've seen on here, which is NBA Street Volume 2. Out of everything else,
I've seen more games. I'm amazed.
I am not.
You've seen Rocket League.
It didn't make the list.
Did not make the list.
Well,
I'm going off your 2 lists. I have heard obviously of these being an older gentleman and around the game sphere for as long as I have. NFL Blitz I thought was a Nintendo 64 game, but who am I kidding? Apparently it's not.
I mean, it could have been. It definitely could have been.
I remember NFL Blitz on 64. I think it was NFL Blitz. And that was a long time ago.
Well, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was on N64 as well, but you don't see the logo on there.
All right.
Because it was on multiple things.
Right.
Fair enough. But yeah, Justin, I think you got the better list here.
You're welcome.
Is awesome as yes.
I tried to be as helpful as I could for you as well. I gave you some good ones.
I've heard great things about Backyard Baseball and SmackDown vs. Raw. And again, SSX Tricky is one of the best snowboarding games. The only other one that came close was Amped, and that one was great as well. But
I don't even remember that.
Came out on the original Xbox. It was day of release.
It's not on the list, so it's
not on the list. But Justin, you win. Cicero, technically you win too, though, which is weird because you created the list and then just gave it to him.
Yeah, Forspoken.
Shucks, what are we gonna do with that? Forspoken. How many times have we? If you tallied up the number of times that Forspoken was said, and you
that Forspoken was spoken.
Yes.
Yeah. Only once in the business meeting.
That is true.
Just at the end. Someone erased the board and just wrote that.
We are going
everyone
to
thought that's what it was all about.
Race through the Forspoken leaderboard. This week is top 5.
It's a good leaderboard.
This week is top 5 Marvel games. Next. Oh my gosh. It is, gentlemen, listeners, I'm sorry. Next week will be top 5 DC games. So tune in next week. I don't care about
next week. Yeah, I don't care about next week. We're on this week.
We are on this week.
For this week.
Justin.
We only have one dry erase board, okay?
Justin, give me 3. Give me 3 Marvel games before my brain just quits working entirely.
First, who's going next? Is it going to be you or Cicero?
Why does that matter?
Because I want to leave one. Right.
I want to leave one.
Right.
No,
it doesn't matter. Go ahead and take yours. Take yours. Go for it.
Okay. All right. The original X-Men, 1992. Arcade.
Sure.
That's a brawler. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, 2006. And I'm going to throw in one of mine. I know there's a lot of good ones, but this is one of mine. Lego Marvel Superheroes.
There you go. Nice.
Oh, I'm a slow.
I left the big hitters for you guys.
All right, Cicero, you are up next.
So I'm gonna go Spider-Man 2.
That's on my list, number 1.
Yeah.
That's the 2004 one, right?
That is the 2004 one based on the movie.
Nice.
With Tobey Maguire.
All right.
I'm gonna go Spider-Man Oh crap! What is the name of the Spider-Man game?
Marvel Spider-Man.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save
Yeah.
that for
Jelly's never played it, so yeah.
Jelly's gonna have to put it on his list. Because
It's not gonna happen.
even though he's never played it, he's gonna have to add it because I'm not gonna add it to my list, and it's gotta make its way onto a list. I can't. It was Spider-Man with the multiple characters, and they had like Spider-Man 2090.
I'm at a loss. I cannot
No,
help you as much as I want.
I know 2 Spider-Man games that I love, and one of them hasn't been mentioned, but the other one you mentioned. So
Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
okay,
Spider-Man
I
Shattered
think
Dimensions.
I remember that.
Yeah, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Was a great Spider-Man game, and my last Marvel game will be the Incredible Hulk for the Xbox 360.
Okay.
Incredible is hard to spell if I don't hit the keys.
If you typo, it automatically changes it to Forspoken.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Spider-Man 2, 04 release. Spider-Man Shattered Dimension and Incredible Hulk. For mine, I have a question here, and this is, does Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles count as a Marvel? Because they've appeared in Marvel and DC. Or are they their own entity separate?
They're an independent.
It's borderline.
Yeah.
I think they're
not
Forspoken from Marvel.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
not.
know. Are they published? They're not published.
I don't think so,
No.
but they have appeared in Marvel and
Sure.
DC. And I love
Yeah, but also
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. So I was just hoping.
I don't think their games are licensed under Marvel either.
No.
Oh, I doubt it.
So, yeah. So I don't think so.
Sad. Shucks. Then.
And when I said the Incredible Hulk game, I meant the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Ultimate Destruction. Oh, that was that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember that game.
It
was good?
We brought it
Yes.
up a few episodes ago. We were talking about it.
It was a lot of
fun. Shoot, dang. Now I have to try and find one.
I know one you could pick.
Can I do cheater ones? Can I do like X-Men versus Street Fighter?
Well,
sure.
Yeah, that's Marvel. It's got Marvel on it. It's like Marvel versus Capcom. It's an option.
Right.
Can I do Marvel versus Marvel v Capcom? Those are great games.
Yeah.
But the original one, the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
I purposefully left Spider-Man.
Oh, he's not going to pick it. I told you he's not going to pick it. He's never played it.
I left it for you.
But I've never played it.
Honestly, Cicero, though, I would rather have Spider-Man 2 on. Everything's been trying to get back to that game.
I've played Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
that one's fantastic.
Right.
Because I had a PlayStation 3.
So do you want to all right, so here's what I'll say. I will swap my Spider-Man 2 for Insomniac Spider-Man.
No, nope. No, can't do that. Can't do that. No. We can do an honorable mention of Spider-Man and Insomniac.
Honorable mention.
It's unfortunate, but
that was fun.
You locked yours in. I told you he wasn't going to pick it.
Yeah, you're right.
It's hard to pick something I've never played. The
listeners
understand.
I left it and Cicero threw it in the trash.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Treated it just like Forspoken.
Oh, dude, win. Marvel Pinball. I'm such a pinball nerd.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I played Space Cadet Pinball more times than I care to admit.
Honestly, I don't want to have 2 Spider-Mans on the list anyway.
And what's the last one? What do I pick? Oh, the Lego's so good. I'm sad that you picked that one, Justin.
I'm a huge Lego fan.
Since Disney owned Marvel, does any Disney product count?
Nope.
Really stretching it here.
I'm trying to. I just haven't played a whole lot of Marvel games. I'm realizing that reading through them all, I've missed out on a lot. I may have to throw Spider-Man in there.
Since X-Men was on an arcade system, does that mean The Simpsons is also a Marvel property?
Right.
These are the questions Joey is asking.
Yeah.
What? No, The Simpsons hasn't existed inside Marvel Universe, whereas Ninja Turtles have existed inside the Marvel Universe. That was the difference.
Just not in a Marvel game.
It's just not. Yeah. Well, no, they have crossover, but shoot, dang. Yeah, I don't know.
Pick 2018 Spider-Man.
Yep. Take it.
I gotta
take it. It's there. It's there.
I'm trying to not take it now. I'm doing it.
Do Marvel Capcom. Anyone?
I have it on there.
He did already.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's got Marvel Capcom.
And then I would have done Spider-Man 2 because I've played it, but I can't.
Okay. All right. So you did Insomniac Spider-Man.
So I'm doing Insomniac Spider-Man. Just Spider-Man. How could it not be on the top though? Obviously. I'm all right, we have to pick a must-have. If I pick Spider-Man as the must-have, is Spider-Man 2 still making it?
Justin, you got to pick your must-have. What's your must-have?
Must-have X-Men.
All right.
Okay.
Take it way back.
Cicero, must-have.
My must-have is Spider-Man.
Off of Jelly's list. Oh, so now you're redacting the Forspoken on the original Spider-Man.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right. Double negative here.
My must-have is pinball.
Okay, we got 2 to fight for.
All right, so I will argue that Ultimate Alliance needs to be on that list.
I'll argue that
I could do that for accessibility and I would do those two, honestly.
Lego Marvel and
Ultimate Alliance.
I like it. Ultimate Alliance gets everything in there. And you get 4-player jump in, jump out co-op.
And Lego is 2-player.
And Lego is 2-player.
In no particular order. We have X-Men 92. That is year of release 92. We have Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man. We have got Marvel Pinball, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Lego Marvel game, and Spider-Man 2, the 04 release. That is it. Top 5. If you're still here, we love you. Thank you. You're awesome. Gentlemen, we've made it through another round here at Test Your Might. Thanks for joining me. Listeners, viewers, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. And tune in next week to see which DC games make the top 5. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Spoken.